the Built Forward Tough Studio. Boomer Esiason, Greg Giannotti. It's Boomer and Gio on the Fan. Simulcast across the country on CBS Sports Network. And where we are in the free Odyssey app. Good Wednesday morning. We know it's very early, but yesterday was not a great day for New York baseball for a number of reasons. As the Yankees blow a lead to the Diamondbacks, a big grand slam late in the game that Mark Leiter Jr. gives up. That was an annoying loss. The Mets have an annoying loss. Couple of errors, uncharacteristic from Francisco Lindor. Offense silenced again. You find out that Sean Manaea now has to be shut down for another 2 weeks. So it was annoying. Yesterday was not a great day for New York baseball, but the great thing about it this time of year is there's 10,000 games more left, Boomer Esiason. Good morning, how are you?
Yeah, good morning, Jay. At least the Knicks won a haphazard game against the Sixers, and they got to play tonight against the Cavaliers out in Cleveland. We'll see how that whole thing shakes out. That is a big story going on, and of course the Rangers play tonight against Minnesota as the Canadians and Blue Jackets both won last night, so that's dropped them back a little bit further from that wild card number 2 in the Eastern Conference of the NHL. Bounced around all over TV last night, and poor Mark Leiter, man. That ball was probably about 3 feet from being caught by Cody Bellinger.
Yeah.
3 feet.
I mean, it didn't look like he took the best route to that ball. I thought he was going to have more of a shot to it, shot at it. But, I'm not going to blame Cody Bellinger on that. It was just it was a bad pitch.
They just flew, though,
Yeah.
But here's the other thing that comes out of last night's game. You said here yesterday that you're all jacked up that Jazz Chisholm is all fired up and fighting back against Dave Portnoy and Barstool and all you dopes out there.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah. Well, he went over four strikeouts last night. It doesn't matter what you have in your hand if you can't hit the ball. And I told you yesterday that, man, just stay above it, And then, of course, last night on the Yankee game, Michael Kay and Paul O'Neill were talking about this torpedo bat and how Giancarlo Stanton has been using it. He used it last year.
Is that why his elbows are all left up?
They were talking about that, and Meredith Marakovich said that there is no correlation to the bat and his elbows.
Okay.
So
how do we know this?
Attention to all of that stuff, but I just, for Jazz Chisholm, just stay out of the fray, man. Stay above the fray. These bats have been around for a couple years, according to Kay and O'Neill last night. It's not shocking that more people are using them, and a few more home runs were hit. And of course, the Yankees set a 4-game series or 4-game record with 17 home runs. But I'm just like, you decided to get yourself involved in this, and then you come out the next night and you go 0 for 4.
Yeah, I don't know if that's technically a touch the money situation.
He struck out 4 times.
But, what he was doing was, I know what he was doing, and he's going to have bad games, going to have good games. He was really spectacular against the Brewers. But what he was doing was essentially saying what you're saying, is that it's not some sort of magical bat, and other people have been using it, and he was just trying to shut up somebody with a very large audience who was saying negative things. And I don't know. I enjoyed that entertainment part of it. Because it wasn't something I thought was harmful. I don't necessarily see the correlation between talking smack on social media and going 0 for 4.
Well, his whole thing, you can blame it at the feet of Michael Kay, because nobody would have said anything about it unless he brings it up on Saturday's game. And so it's all his fault. That's what I said. It's Big Head's fault. And just let him, he can sit there and take all the bows for bringing it up to everybody and letting everybody know what the hell's actually going on. But Major League Baseball, by all accounts, said this bat is legal, everything's fine. And again, the bat is designed to help the hitter when he hits the ball, not when he swings and misses.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Everybody thinks that, all right, so we had a lot of conversation about these bats over the last 4 days, but unless you're hitting the ball, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. No, of course.
Still have to hit the ball.
But as Al pointed out the other day, that was what the steroid people said, too. You still got to make contact. You still got to do that. Now, I don't think it's an advantage like steroids. I'm not making that correlation, but that was their excuse.
The bat's been around for 2 years now, 3 years now.
I know. I think we've said all we need to say about it. But, like a guy like Anthony Volpe, though, who was really the person that needed it, hits another home run last night. And that first home run he had on opening day, we looked at and we're like, wow, that would look like it was right off. He got jammed there and it went out. I know it was the short porch, but
I think for a guy like him, it certainly helps. And maybe he'll have more power numbers because of it, because of the design. But yeah, I mean, last night really was more about the fact that he didn't have Devin Williams. A lot of paternity leave stuff. I know that, that's a sore spot back in the day.
You know what? I mean, all I said.
We don't need to relitigate it. I'm just laughing about it.
I mean, I appreciate what Francisco Lindor said. He said, my wife had the baby.
Yeah.
She said, all's good, baby's healthy, get back to work. Yeah. And he showed up the next day. He didn't go out, and everybody's got a different situation, but he wanted to be back with his team, and he got his first hit. So
and Devin Williams not available because of it,
Yeah, I mean, I
got to time these things out better. You know what I'm saying?
I know it's been like that with the Rangers throughout the season as well. It happens every year. God Almighty, I don't know why we even have to discuss it anymore when it happens. And like I said, every situation is completely different. Everybody handles it different. So everybody can get their heads out of their asses and stop worrying about it.
Well, I just brought it up to laugh. I wasn't trying to be serious about it. But yeah, I mean, Lindor was a weird one. I mean, I don't know if him, having a late night or traveling or whatever had something to do with it. But 2 errors in the same game for him is really rare. And they were both similar. I mean, they both basically were hops that he would normally handle, go off the heel of the glove. It's just weird.
Something was weird going on last night because that was weird. The nailer to Corbin Burns play was weird. It was an easy play.
Throws it way over his head.
Threw it over his head. And then, I don't know how much of the Knicks game you watched, but I have to tell you, if the Knicks play like the way that they played last night, they won the game, which is great. But if they play the way that they played last night, tonight against Cavaliers, they're going to lose by 50. I mean, and I know that they don't, Karl Anthony Towns didn't play last night, and Brunson didn't play last night, and Landry Shamet went off last night, but man, there were times where nobody wanted to hold on to the basketball in this game last night. Yeah, between them and the Sixers, it was brutal.
Yeah, I mean, it was aesthetically not pleasing. The Sixers are horrendous. There's nothing you can judge from that basketball game last night. I got to be honest, nothing. I mean, you got your 2 star players that aren't playing against a team that is completely dead.
Man, my guy Precious Achiuwa was throwing up bricks last night.
Well,
I mean, I think he was like trying to throw it in instead of shooting it.
Yeah.
Trying to throw it in the basketball, in the basket.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
You aiming, not just letting it go?
I don't know what he was doing last night. And then OG was all over the place last night. There was just a lot of weird plays.
Yeah, I mean, because it's not really the team.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I don't know. I've said this a bunch now, and I really do think, you get Brunson back, get them going again, familiarity, all this stuff. I really think it's a good thing that he's had some rest here as well, as much as he plays. And he'll come back, and then you'll have Towns hopefully 100% healthy. And I don't know if this knee thing is something that's an actual thing, or he's getting a rest day because you got the Cavaliers coming up and you want to play well in that game. But once the playoffs start, I really do believe you're going to get a different-looking team. And I'm not naive about this. I just think that we haven't experienced in a very long time a good NBA team that gets bored. And that's what happens. And this is a good NBA team that got bored. And when they get to the playoffs, they're not going to be bored. And we're going to see better play. We're going to see better defense. We're going to see better shooting. We're going to see all of that stuff. And will it be enough to beat those 2 best teams in the East? That remains to be seen. But
they only have to beat one of them. Well, they might have to beat 2 of them.
No, to get to the finals.
Well,
you have
assuming
to beat 2.
that we're assuming that Cleveland's going to make it all the way to the finals.
I would think so. I mean, at this point, that team is proven enough, right?
Yeah, but they're not. Well, they've had their little bit of a hiccup,
and they're not going to have to face the Celtics until they won't face them in the first or second round. So then they basically, and they wouldn't have to face the Knicks until the finals. So I mean, what team's knocking them off? It would have to be a disaster for them to get knocked off.
Somebody has to get hurt, just like what happened to the Knicks last year. Somebody would have somebody of significance, 2 or 3 players have to get hurt.
Yeah, I mean, that's always a possibility. I mean, the Knicks were well on their way to winning that Indiana series till everybody went down in a heap.
Well, I hate to just point this out, but it did happen in the women's college basketball with Juju Watkins and USC. I mean, not that, UConn could have beat them with her playing, but when she's out, forget it. Game's over.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the impact of a truly great player. And that's what happened to the Knicks last year. And that's why it was so enjoyable, because of the way that the guys who were playing played, but it was also really frustrating for the guys that were not playing. And even last night watching the game, I mean, half the bench looks like a boy band, and the other half is like, players you'd never heard of.
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting is like for me last night, this was a means nothing basketball game,
And it looked that way.
I mean,
too.
and I'm not taking anything out of it, and I feel like you're kind of like extrapolating something that happened last night into what could happen to them later.
I'm not.
I mean, there was
a point in the third quarter yesterday that it was just the first 7 or 8 minutes was just brutal.
Yeah,
I think the Knicks were stuck on like 67, and I don't know, Philadelphia couldn't get out of their own way. Balls being thrown away, balls thrown out of bounds.
So bad.
I think the Knicks probably had like 20 turnovers last night.
Yeah, I mean, this is why regular season basketball is a tough watch. It just is, I mean, and me, with the length and the Major League Baseball, I talk about it so much and keeping the attention, but I was way more interested in early season baseball last night than I was with the Knicks and playing without Towns and Jalen Brunson against one of the worst teams we've seen in a number of years. I mean, that's really where I was.
I know. And listen, the baseball goes fast. Before you know it, you're in the 6th inning. If nobody has like one of those snowman innings.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's great.
And this kid Kranick for the Mets.
Yeah, Kranick and Stanek.
Kranick has been great.
Kranick and Stanek.
I don't know. They just got
print the T-shirts.
Just got to start hitting, man. It's so frustrating. Vantos is struggling. Pete's still struggling.
Gets a hit, but I mean, still 1 hit on the year.
But 2 errors.
Yeah, I know. 1 hit, 2 errors. Yeah, Vientos. That's the one it's more disappointing to me than some of the other slow starts, just because. I mean, he looked like he was on a trajectory to be a tremendous offensive player, and he still may be, but he doesn't look like the same guy right now that we saw in the playoffs, and meaning like just the full confidence he had going up to the plate as a young guy against some of the best pitchers in the game during the postseason. I was like, that's going to carry over, and I'm going to see that. So, it's one of those things where it's not even so much, and he's getting really frustrated as they're showing last night, him throwing stuff in the dugout. But it's just like the confidence at the plate I'm not seeing like I saw. But I still think he'll be good. I still think he's going to be a major part of this offense. But that one is annoying to me. And Kodai Senga, by the way, he was really good last night. I mean, it's he had the 2 unearned runs because of the Lindor errors. But I mean, I thought he pitched outside of that home run he gave up in the first inning. I thought he was really good. I mean,
he touched 96 a couple times,
struck out 8 guys. Had the ghost fork working?
Yeah.
I mean, the pitching's been good. Pitching
has been good.
Especially, and then it helps you out on the heels of that. Carlos Mendoza, you could tell, was really disappointed delivering that news yesterday. Manaea getting shut down because, he's got some inflammation there, and this oblique thing continues to linger. But, off the heels of that news, another good pitching performance. I mean, that if they can... The offense will be fine. They'll wake up. They're going to be fine. If they could put together another miracle season with this duct tape and spit that they're doing with the starting rotation,
yes.
I mean, then this team knows no bounds. And early returns are good. And we but this is a big start for Clay Holmes early on in the season. Struggled. This is now his second start as a starter.
They got to win this series.
And they can't lose to the Marlins.
Right. Exactly.
2 out of 3. So this one is actually, it's an important early season moment for him because this is the first time he's doing this, in a very long time. You're getting ready for a second start. Even though that this is the difference between the team with expectations and not. Like, if they lose 2 out of 3 to the Marlins and start 2-4, it's going to feel horrible.
I feel some of the disappointment because there's such high hopes with Soto in the lineup, and the fact that he's on base every game, which is it's great for him.
Yeah,
but the guys around him kind of wake up here sooner or later.
Well, I mean, Pete has the big grand slam, but last night just a nothing offensive game for him.
Rounder.
So I mean, with opening day coming up and them coming off this series, it'd be nice to have some momentum going into that and not limping in because that place is going to be wild. Soto's going to get a huge ovation. It's going to be popping. It's going to just completely sold out.
Come in with a win and come in with a series win.
Yeah,
that's what you want.
And then this weekend is going to be a complete washout.
Oh, that's a shame.
Complete washout. So we're going to have, what's going to happen on Monday. I was waiting around for 2.5 hours, 3 hours. They told me we were going to play. They weren't going to play.
Yeah.
Then I spent $700 on beer and hot dogs and brisket sandwiches, and then they sent me home. I paid $70,000 to park my car, right? That happens every year. Every year.
And by the way, it is that time of year.
Yeah, certainly. All right, Boomer and Gio on the Fan and CBS Sports Network. Get Jerry in here. His first update of the morning coming up.